Here's a question. Would you let someone implant a microchip into your hand if you would receive $2,000 a month? A month in return for getting a chip put in your hand. You heard me right. We'll give you universal basic income, basically, 2,000 euros, $2,000 a month, if you allow us to put a microchip in your hand. That's exactly what's about to happen as part of the rollout of the central bank digital currencies. It's a carrot for them to rope you into this mess. We'll get to that part of the story in a minute, the chip implantation process, not the corn chip, as Dan said in our chat, but a actual metallic tracking chip. But a new report just published this week by the Bank for International Settlements explains how our new digital money system is about to work. We've been warning you that this was coming for a long time on this show. Also, we weren't the only ones predicting this. It was predicted in a little book, you might have heard of it, called The Bible, The Mark of the Beast. For one thing, this is how this new system would operate. According to them, the Bank for International Settlements, the new reserve currency, forget the dollar as you know it, basically. This will be the new reserve currency, which is how they want to label it and how they are labeling it. This would be used to settle all transactions. As everyone moves away from the U.S. dollar right now, this seems like perfect timing to be moving to this new system. So are they purposefully torpedoing the U.S. dollar in preparation for a global new reserve currency? One might wonder, right? We don't believe in conspiracy theories around here, but you have to wonder. It could include the confiscation of all property, physical property. By assigning it, every item would receive a real world. Every real world item would receive its own unique digital token. So what do you guys think about this, right? This idea that they could, I'm not saying they're going to, but your car, your house, all of these sort of physical items that need a token process, you have to get them digitally tokenized in order for you to claim ownership of these items. No more selling cars without a digital token, right? No black market of selling cars. They all have to be tokenized. They all have to have a digital tracking ID to know exactly who owns them through this, what they call this transparent process.
So it's like a blockchain for the world.
Right. I mean, it would be on the blockchain, right? Everyone would be given a tokenized digital ID. And I'll explain more about exactly the tokenization process in a moment. But basically, the idea that if you don't comply with this, then we're going to take your property and tokenize it ourselves is the idea. And they won't come out and say this, but that's exactly what some people are worried about, is that they would take your items, they would take your physical property and do it for you, or confiscate it altogether if you're not willing to comply. And think of it like contraband. It would be considered contraband. Imagine trying to go through the airport or airport security with that laptop that you didn't have tokenized, so there's no digital footprint of it. Oh, what is that? What is that item that you're carrying there? Why do you have that there? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have it registered with the government. I don't have a digital ID for that item? Don't worry, we'll take it off your hands. So your digital wallet, your car, your house, your laptop, your phone, all of it assigned a digital token. Inside those tokens would be a set of rules for how each item can and cannot be used so that each person can be controlled and conditioned directly by the central bank. You've used your digital wallet to buy your allotment of beef or chicken this month, you're cut off. You're cut off. Your wallet is not limited. Your wallet is now limited until next month. And by the way, you think this is like a conspiracy theory. The Federal Reserve, literally on their website, loves and talks about the benefits of expiring currency, the expiration of currency. And hey, China's already doing it in part. So there's already limitations and expiration of currency. We already have this. And the Fed is openly talking about this on their website. Think this is a dream? Okay, just wait until it happens. Let's actually let them describe. So here is, after this Bank of International Settlements rolled this out, last week. Here is their tokenization process in their own words. Just watch sort of well, let me know if you think that this is creepy in any way. Watch.
Tokenization is more than just a digital representation of money and assets. It involves digital representation on a programmable platform, which means that tokens can incorporate the rules and logic governing transfers, as well as the information about the asset itself. Now, currently, money and other claims reside in separate databases that are connected through third-party messaging systems, meaning that transactions need to be reconciled separately before being settled with finality. Tokenization makes all this one seamless operation. Tokenization is well suited to resolve incentive and information problems. Think of an example where a buyer would like to pay when the goods are delivered, while the seller would like to deliver the goods when the buyer pays. Tokenization can solve this problem by executing both transactions at the same time.
So
two real-world applications.
So they talk about this. They talk about this tokenization as solving these problems, right? It involves the representing the ownership rights of real-world assets as digital tokens on a blockchain. In other words, you own a car, and that's confirmed because there's a digital token saying you do, and it's confirmed on the blockchain. You wouldn't need to go do title searches and all of your antiquated things like that when selling your car. It's already on the blockchain and confirmed that you own it. It's a digital certificate of authenticity. They'll sell it to us as a way to speed up the banking process, as he was just doing. And what if the main currency is a central bank digital currency run by the Fed? And you want to use Bitcoin? You want to use Dogecoin? You want to use cash? Sorry. That's outlawed now. You can't do that. Oh, you're using this illegal currency? Sorry, you're going to jail. We already see the move towards trying to get rid of digital currency that's not run by the federal government. They don't like Bitcoin. They absolutely don't like a lot of these other cryptocurrencies. Sorry, that's outlawed. You need to use America's digital currency or the EU's digital currency. That is controlled by a central power. You don't need to imagine it because it's already happening. But more importantly, it's all about the control. Buried towards the end of this report is this nugget on who would control these transactions. And again, this is why no one's covering this story, because it's nuanced and it takes time to explain this all. So you're just going to wind up one day with this thing in your wallet, a digital wallet, and no one's going to explain this to you. In this report, buried deep in this, like 40 pages deep, I stumbled across this. The governance section of a unified ledger could follow existing arrangements whereby central banks and regulated private participants take part in governance under established rules. For example, when money and payments are involved in a ledger, the central bank will necessarily play a role as the provider of the ultimate settlement asset. Its specific involvement in governance arrangements could take various forms, much as it does in the case of traditional payment systems, where public ownership, regulation, and oversight, as well as private mutual ownership, are viable options. So in other words, the Fed will play a necessary role as the provider and the ultimate settlement decider in these transactions. So the central bank, of course, will control these transactions. And it means that it represents trillions of dollars in potential transactions of these governments. They stand to make a lot of money. And according to the report released just recently by the Global Financial Markets Association, this is the Boston Consulting Group and others, estimate as part of this report, look here on your screen, the value of tokenized illiquid assets will increase from roughly $0.3 trillion in 2022 to $16 trillion in transactions by 2030. That in 7 more years, we will jump up by almost $15.5 trillion in additional settlements. Richard Werner is an economist who is a World Economic Forum insider. Think of him as a whistleblower against these globalists. He was chosen by Klaus Schwab at the time as a global leader. Here he explains how the CBDC, or central bank digital currency, will start off on our phones as an app, but then move to something far more nefarious. An implant in your hand. Yes, a chip in your hand. Listen.
And what people don't mention is, what do these CBDCs actually look like? You know, at the moment, there's a bit of talk about this being phone-based apps. And yes, that is the initial phase. But what was already ready around 2015 is the ultimate goal. What they really want, apparently, I was told by a central banker, is, you know, CBDCs looks like a small grain of rice that they want to put under your skin, which is, in my view, a violation of human dignity. And they realize there is a hurdle. So to get people to accept this, there will be, you know, why suddenly all the billionaires saying, let's have universal basic income? Because the story is going to be, oh, now we've created this vast unemployment and disruption and crises. Well, we need universal basic income. You will get 2,000 euros into your account every month. But of course, to run this efficiently, we need to use the latest technology. So, you know, you need the CBDC chip implant.
Okay. So you get this universal basic income.
Right, that's the carrot.
But you can't actually then make any more than that. That will be like, you have to have what everybody has then.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you make more money than that, or you probably have to qualify at a certain threshold. But, you know, would you be willing to go along with, this is the question, and it's going to work.
I guess
There's
that's
gonna be
my
so many
extrapolation is like, the scary part is this becomes the Hunger Games. You just get your portion, right? And then you have no rights to anything above that.
And I think when, like we talked about it before, it's like it's going to target the poorest people because they're the ones that are going to be wanting to get on board with this because it's going to make life easier for them. It's like you get this stipend plus your income, and this is going to make it easier for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think this is going to work. And this is how they will get people. We will put you on a universal basic income, and you will be given a certain set of parameters how you can use this income. And by the way, you're going to have to get a chip in your hand for tracking. That's how you will access it, right? And additionally, you will then you will be capped at certain purchases. Your carbon footprint will be tracked. What are you buying? Where are you going? And the idea, of course, that, oh, this is only for purchases. We won't be able to track your physical location, your whereabouts. Really? Communication, how is it being tracked? Is it Bluetooth, near field communication? I just walk up and tap it against any kind of like a soda machine. We've already seen them rolling it out at different grocery stores. We see people in Sweden are jumping on board with this, wanting to use this on a regular basis. So there's people already electing to use this, wanting to use this. And they'll do this with the promise of basic income. $2,000 a month. Would you do it? Let us know in the chat if you would do that. This is not some fever dream, by the way. Where did this come from? This was explained in great detail by Klaus Schwab himself in 2016. Listen.
Today, at the end of this, we are talking about chips that can be implanted. When will that be? Certainly in the next 10 years. And at first, we will implant them in our clothes. And then we could imagine that we will implant them in our brains and in our skin. And in the end, maybe there will be a direct communication between our brain and the digital world. What we see is a kind of fusion of the physical, digital, and biological world.
I know this is a little hard for some people to swallow, but they are doing it, guys. I mean, this is what's coming out with this reserve currency. This will be, and I have to ask the question, I'll ask it again. Do you think they intentionally torpedoed are torpedoing the US dollar in favor of this currency. It makes it unattractive. And they want us to move away from cash to begin with. That's been the plan all along. But I mean, the writing is on the wall here, guys.
I don't know. This is the kind of thing that I want to sort of put aside and be like, no, until I cannot any longer.
Until they're knocking at your door. We're here for your chip installation.
Right.
Natalie, where's your hand?
I guess I'm more prone to consider something like this after the pandemic, as
As a reality.
Yeah, I
As
mean,
a
that's the thing.
reality.
It's like it sounds so fantastical that like you would just like brush it off as being like that's just too crazy. But then again, like like, I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Yeah, given what we've been through now, it seems so a little too transparent. And maybe we have been warned about this through fiction for a long time. And you can think of so many cautionary tales, Gattaca, Hunger Games, all of these.
The drip, like sort of the drip feeding of it. I mean, but you don't even need like fiction now in modern days. All you need to do is look at the Bible, and looking at this prediction of the mark of the beast and this idea of being able to track. So I don't know. I mean, and this is,
I don't know if that's a literal interpretation of Mark of the Beast, though. I mean, the Mark of the Beast is a sign of evil, like a sign of, I'm not sure if it was, maybe my interpretation is a bit more literal than that, or figurative. Is that what do you mean by that?
well, I mean, everyone in the chat is saying that, and that's, there are people saying the Bible, yes, the mark of the beast, the Bible. So is it, I don't know. We had some Bible scholars here.
I thought you
I'm not a
had
Bible
to sort
scholar.
of, you wouldn't just accidentally get like, or it wasn't for like just the poorest, the mark of the beast was like something deliberate, more deliberate than that. But
More deliberate than what? Someone injecting you with a piece of...
right, you don't just prey on people and then eat them up like the mark of the beast, right? You would get it more deliberately than that. So it doesn't just show up on people unless, I don't know. I'm just not sure how
Well,
that
you know what else
plays
is
out.
scary?
Yeah, what's scary?
Talk about what you're talking about right now, and then add in the millions of genetically modified mosquitoes that they're releasing into Florida, Texas. We talk about being injected with things. It's like they don't leave much open for. It's like it seems conspiratorial, but like this stuff is happening lockstep with each other, and it's like like these people meet and they come up with these are brains that come together and think of how can we manipulate things. They know stats, they know data, and they are planning something specific, and they know exactly what they're doing, and they know how to do it through propaganda and like the things that getting people on board with these things by making it a convenience. So I fear that a majority of people are going to fall for this just based on the convenience alone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I should couch the fact that I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and I have read the book of Revelation many times. That faith takes it very literally. And the way that is taught is that the mark of the beast is for the non-believers, the sort of non-faith acceptors. And so you would have to opt into it as a bad person. It wouldn't just show up on all of us. If we were righteous. That does not seem to be the interpretation that people who were saying this in the chat subscribe to. So I would have to re-examine that. I didn't think that it was something that could just be for all of us.
Yeah, I'm not a biblical scholar, so I'm not.
Okay, we unintentionally stepped in something we didn't mean to. You said mark of the beast.
I'm just saying that this has been repeated over and over again, that this is, and that I'm repeating what the chat is saying here, that this is the mark of the beast, and that this is a admission or moving away from, from Jesus Christ, I guess, and wanting to say, we'll just go along with the system. We will just become part of the system and be controlled by the system.
Okay, that much I can.
If that's...
I'm with you on that.
All right.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I need to think on that for a little bit.
Okay.
I want to think about that parallel for a while before I speak about it. Okay.
Okay, someone says we're right. Yes, okay, we're right. It's about accepting this system and sort of stepping in and allowing them to just take over. And they apparently they did say it would be in the forehead or the hand again. But nevertheless, this is the system that we're about to have. Okay, this is rolling out, and this is coming to a monetary system near you. And I think part of the problem is, because you kind of hit on it, you're like, oh, this is something I hope to maybe sweep under the rug, and maybe I won't face it until it's here. It's like, well, we can't allow it to just be here and then it's too late. Like, we need to be vocal about it. When these governments are moving towards this, we need to tell our elected leaders, we don't want this. We don't want the control of everything that we do and the tracking of everything that we do. By the time it's here, it's too late. If it's already rolled out and everyone is reliant on this new system, then it's too late, I think. I really think it's too late. And you have this sort of universal basic income being rolled out to everyone, and they're relying on it. And then it's very hard to walk that back.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
It's very hard to rewind the tape then and be like, oh, well, guess we didn't have a chance to talk about it like we did.
Yes, but we saw during the pandemic that most government handouts are something that bite you back. So we already know this, right? This is not new information.
But it's like, we can share this segment. You can share it on social media, push it out there, get the word out about this. This is actually happening and it's coming. So we can all say we're not ignorant about it. And we can take action about it. I think it really is troubling to me, especially what the EU is already doing with limiting the amount of cash you can use and give out to people. Like, beyond $300, you're considered basically in the gray area of criminality if you're using to pay for things with more than a certain hundreds of euros for things. This is what's coming.
Shalom, Ka'ala Yahweh, Bashem El Shai, Bashem Rakokodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage were known as and still are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the video we just watched where the popular online show called Redacted spoke about the coming mark of the beast. And not only did they, but namely the wife, Natalie Morris, right? But the audience in the chat feed showed their ignorance to what it was. But before we get into that and break it down, let's read this. This is Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So that right there is the prophecy of the coming mark of the beast, right? Which all the world will be tested, right? And that the devils that run this world, that being the Edomites, right? Which the Edomite nation, right? The Caucasian race are the Antichrist upon the face of the earth. Okay? There's not going to be one Antichrist, right? The Messiah himself said it, that even now there are many Antichrists in the world, right? If you go against the Bible, right, the truth that is being preached by the apostles and the brothers out there, you are against the Lord, right? Because the apostles are teaching the 100% truth of what the Bible is actually talking about, right? Churches, religions, and like Natalie Morris said, Jehovah's Witnesses, they're all antichrists, right? All these people who follow those false doctrines, I should say, are antichrists, right? Because why? Because they're going against the word of God. Now, namely, you're going to find that the main antichrists in the world are going to be the top elite of the society that runs the world, that being the kings of Edom, the elite, the 1%ers, the bankers, like the Borgias, the Orsini families, the Colonna, the Rothschilds, all those top elite families, which are go back to the line of Edom. Those are the main antichrist of the world who are pushing forward this agenda. This is Isaiah 60:2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahweh Bashimashai shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So you see, Akim, we're in a very blessed state. We've been given the information. We've been given the cheat codes to find out what's actually happening, right? We actually understand that the mark of the beast is in fact the RFID microchip that they want to implant in your hand, or the brain chips that are made by Neuralink and all these other companies that they want to implant in your brains, right? Which are going to tie you to the central bank digital system for the new economy that's going to come out. And one thing in that piece is that they talked about the Bank of International Settlements proposal for tokenizing your property, okay? Your house, your cars, all the big items. You know, they're definitely going to try to tokenize people's weapons, right? But the thing is they want everything that you own to be registered, right? And what happens when you register an item? Well, you give up its ownership to the organization that you've registered it with. So though you may own the tokenization ID and may hold on to it physically, there's going to come a time when they're going to remove it all from you, right? And that your descendants down the road aren't going to own anything, right? You're going to not be able to pass on your belongings to your descendants, right? They're not going to be able to inherit anything from you because, as Clayton Morris rightfully said, they're going to consider it contraband, right? You're not going to be able to own unregistered computers or Bibles or certain things that the world elite government, deems unfit for personal use, which these devils, they've said it themselves, right? That you will own nothing and you will be happy. This is Isaiah 29:13. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men. So, as you can see here, these people had no freaking idea, especially this lady here, Natalie. She really showed her ignorance, and the fact that she was trying to tout that she was at one point a Jehovah's Witness, which Jehovah's Witnesses are wicked, is a wicked organization started by a Freemason, right? And these guys are devils, right? They have the wrong name, they teach the wrong doctrine, right? They teach that the heads and leaders of the Jehovah's Witness organization, the Watchtower as they call them, right, with all Edomite men, that they are the 144,000 and all this bullshit. But the thing is see, that this is what happens when you follow man-made doctrines, right? When your fear of the Lord is taught to you by the doctrines of men, right? You're mistaken, you're confused, and you don't know what's going on. You think see what's given to people when they follow religion and they base their understanding upon it. See, because the thing is, like she said, she used to be a Jehovah's Witness, but now I'm sure she's like secular atheist, wants to go along to get along. And what happens is when she is confronted with biblical events, she brings out from her mental closet all the things that she thought she understood, right? And what does she do? She makes a fool of herself, and also she confuses and she sends out deception to the people. On the other hand, Clayton over here rightfully noted that this is the mark of the beast, that this could possibly be it. And he was trying to warn people, but what happened? Natalie, let me see if I could get to that.
I don't know if that's a literal interpretation of Mark of the Beast, though. I mean, the Mark of the Beast is a sign of evil, like a sign of, I'm not sure if it was. Maybe my interpretation is a bit more literal than that, or figurative. Is that what?
So you see right there, in her unknowing of what the Bible actually says, she interrupted her husband, who was actually correct, that this is the mark of the beast, right? Notice She didn't know what the mark of the beast was, but she had to come in, interrupt him, and say what it wasn't. Okay? This is the misinformation that's going to go out to the world. And this is really what the majority of the world mindset is, right? They don't know shit about the Bible, but they feel that they know what the Bible's talking about. And this is why a lot of people are going to be taken and destroyed, because they have this false sense of understanding, right? See, this woman, she was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, right? So she believes in her heart that somehow gives her some sort of authority, not realizing, like I said, Jehovah's Witness and the whole doctrine is a bunch of deceit started by Freemasons and devils who have twisted the doctrine of the Bible. And when you get into go into the comment boards, there's so many people here who don't even understand what the mark of the beast is. They're saying that you have to be evil to and accept a certain contract with the devil. See, like having an RFID chip in your hand is the same as having an RFID tag in your leg. It's the same as being a tagged prisoner. But see, they don't understand that it's not the actual physical chip itself being in your body, but what it is, it's that it's going to tie you to the beast system, right? And hence it's going to be the mark of the beast. And that word, let's go ahead and get into that word real quick. All right, let's go to the Blue Letter Bible for this. So if you look down here, it says right here, Revelation 13:17. Let's go to the word mark. Right, it's right here.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
Right, so charagma. Okay, it tells you here, it says a stamp and imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead of the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. And like I said, there's not going to be one Antichrist or a person that's going to show up. The Antichrist is talking about are the people that are against the Lord. And that would be namely the Edomite nation, right? The so-called Caucasian race. Now, the thing about this word here, charagma, it goes back to its root word, this word here, right? Karax, which when you look into that word, a pale, a stake, a palisade. And a palisade is basically a square block that's been sharpened to a point, kind of like a pyramid, right? Like a needle. So this right here ultimately is going to mean that this mark is going to be something that's going to be inserted with like a needle, right? It's something that's going to be implanted. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. You see, what's happening, or what they described in this video as was going to happen, it's literally happening now, right? But they're not actually implanting chips, but what they're doing is they're taking people's biometric identities, right? Their iris scans, right? It tells you here, it says Silicon Valley entrepreneur Sam Altman, right, an Edomite, wants to scan your eyes in exchange for free cryptocurrency, right? See, so it tells you here, it says tech millionaire Sam Altman's new startup WorldCoin uses orb-shaped devices to scan people's eyes in exchange for free cryptocurrencies. The company has so far amassed 100,000 users globally already and aims to hit 1 billion users milestone by 2023. And this was a while ago, right? It says WorldCoin CEO Alex Blania hints WorldCoin will be used as infrastructure for the Universal Basic Income one day, the UBI. So notice that Clinton said that they want to basically pay you $2,000 a month to get this chip. Well, where do you think those digital IDs are coming from? Devils like this and organizations like this, okay? And as you can see here, there's people here lining up on the streets in Chile to get it, right? And check this out. See that huge line? These are people who are signing up because they want a chance at having that $200 or $2,000 a month. See, so you see, people are going to basically be, falling over each other to try to get this mark of the beast, right? This microchip implant, which ultimately is going to require you to also have a digital ID. This is why in the States they're requiring your driver's license to be a real ID or a digital ID, because they're trying to fulfill that digital requirement to have a digital ID, which ultimately these devils are going to try to attach your social credit score to. Because again, remember, when they collapse the economy and they get rid of the old monetary system, the dollars, the credit cards, everything, you're no longer going to need a credit score. So instead, they're going to replace it with, oh, and by the way, the credit score system was only initiated back like in 1989, right? So it's not a thing that's been around for a long time. These devils initiated that recently, and they're gonna swap it out for the social credit system, just like in China. This is why Elon Musk is slowly changing Twitter over to the WeChat equivalent over here in America, where it's gonna be the everything app, and basically you're gonna have one app for everything from your Facebook, Instagram, all these different apps, Uber, payment systems, PayPal. It's all gonna be on the new X system, right? And this is Proverbs 24 and 22. For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both? And that's ultimately going to be the people that have taken this mark of the beast. Because again, one thing that in the comment section of that video, a lot of people thought you had to willfully be with the Antichrist, right? You had to be a bad person, right? A lot of these people don't realize that there's going to be a lot of what you would call so-called good people who are going to take this mark of the beast, because this is just part of the system. It's the same group of people who took the jump shot, right? Because why? Because the government tried to mandate it, the jobs mandated it. So there's going to be a lot of people like your family, friends, your co-workers, and just general upstanding people who are going to take this mark of the beast. And they're not going to be so-called wicked people. They're just going to be your average, everyday, naive person who doesn't know any better. But to the Lord, those people are referred to as wicked because they are going against the Lord's word, and hence they are Antichrist. But again, like it tells you here, right? Their ruin shall come suddenly. So hopefully this video was edifying. Until the next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kokodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.